When the Galactic Concord drafted the laws of war, humanity was the only species specifically named. Not as allies. Not as enemies. As a prohibition. Section 9. Combat Participation Restrictions. No human, Terran-born or modified, shall engage in any sanctioned military conflict under Concord jurisdiction. Violation shall be deemed a war crime. That was how it began. No one ever told the full story in the public channels. The younger races grew up hearing whispers that humans were too violent, that their wars left planets screaming, that their soldiers never stopped fighting even after death. Most assumed it was exaggeration until the records leaked from the War of Vora Prime. The beginning, the war that should have ended quickly. The Vora Dominion was a superpower. Bioengineered soldiers, living ships, nanite clouds that devoured metal and flesh alike. They expanded across 3 sectors before the Concord even reacted. When the human colonies petitioned for help, the Concord hesitated. Earth was small, its people scattered after the resource collapse. But the Vora struck them anyway, first on Europa Colony, then on Helion Drift. Entire populations erased. Humanity didn't wait for permission. They assembled a defense force from scavenged tech, mercenary ships, and volunteers who'd fought in every dirty, forgotten war back on Earth. They called themselves the Terran Accord, and their commander was a quiet man named Captain Elias Ward. Ward wasn't the loudest. He wasn't the strongest. But he had something every other species underestimated: the human instinct to adapt, to improvise. The first battle lasted 12 minutes. Vora fleets blanketed the human armada in plasma storms. Ships tore apart like paper. Sensors showed catastrophic losses until the debris started moving. Ward's ships didn't retreat. They turned off their reactors, drifted dark, and used the Vora's own heat signatures to mask their re-entry. They crashed their remains into the Vora command ships and detonated by hand. "We can't outgun them," Ward said. "So we'll outthink them. We'll fight like Earth taught us to, desperate, dirty, and alive." For every human ship destroyed, 2 Vora fell. For every city lost, a dozen Vora spires were reduced to ash. By the end of the first month, the Vora began calling the humans the burned ones, not because they burned planets, but because even when set aflame, they kept fighting. The middle, when the galaxy watched in horror. The Concord eventually intervened, not to protect humanity, but to prevent total planetary collapse. They offered to negotiate. The Vora refused. So the Concord sent its fleets to observe humanity's tactics firsthand. What they saw changed warfare forever. The humans didn't use traditional command structures anymore. Their officers had died early. Every squad fought independently, swarms of soldiers using local mesh networks, adapting faster than any centralized AI could predict. They moved like chaos, and yet their chaos had purpose. One Concord observer, a Threxian general, described it in his report. "They don't fight with fear. They fight with memory. Each fallen soldier becomes a pattern. Each defeat becomes a lesson. They evolve mid-battle. No species does that." Then came the siege of Vora Prime. The Vora unleashed their ultimate weapon, the Sunbreaker Array, a weapon designed to ignite the atmosphere of an entire world. It should have ended humanity. Ward and his forces launched a suicide run, thousands of dropships diving through storms of plasma. Most were vaporized before landing, but enough made it through. Human infantry fought for 71 hours straight, no reinforcements, no supply lines. When their ammunition ran out, they used the Vora's own fallen bodies as shields. When the Sunbreaker began to charge, Ward's team breached the main power core and detonated a fusion drive by hand. Vora Prime went dark. Forever. The shockwave erased 3 moons, and when the light faded, nothing of the Dominion's leadership remained. The humans didn't celebrate. They didn't cheer. They buried their dead under glass and went silent. The aftermath, the Concorde's dilemma. When the Concorde's investigative council arrived, they found what was left of Ward's command bunker. There were no survivors, just recordings. Ward's final message played across the galaxy. If you see this, then the Vora are gone. We did what we had to. Don't let anyone call it glory. It was survival, and survival has no heroes. The Concorde debated for years afterward. The numbers didn't make sense. Less than 10,000 human soldiers had fought across 8 systems, yet they'd eradicated one of the most powerful empires in known space. Concorde medics found something disturbing. Surviving humans had altered neurochemistry, stress responses that no longer triggered fear, adrenaline systems that sustained combat for days. Evolution through trauma. The council concluded, they cannot be allowed to fight again. Not because they are evil, but because they do not stop. And so, humanity was banned. The official decree framed it as a protection measure for all species, including humanity itself. But everyone knew the truth. The galaxy feared them. The quiet years. Centuries passed. Humans became engineers, explorers, artists, anything but soldiers. Their children were raised under the legend of the Forbidden Warriors. The rest of the galaxy dismissed them as relics of an age too violent to remember. But not everyone forgot. In the outer sectors, pirates began testing the ban, raiding human colonies, assuming their victims wouldn't fight back. They were wrong. Small skirmishes started, mining outposts defending themselves with improvised turrets and gravity traps. No military aid, no official fleets, just civilians fighting like their ancestors did. The attackers always vanished. No wreckage. No survivors. Then came the Cryon incursion. A hive species beyond the Concorde's borders. Cold, calculating, endless. They consumed worlds, stripping them to core dust. The Concorde fought for 5 years and lost half its fleets. When the Cryon reached the Sol frontier, humanity was supposed to evacuate. Instead, they sent one message. Permission denied. We'll hold the line. The ending, when the fire returned. No one knows how the humans rebuilt their fleets so fast. Some said the old Terran Accord had never truly disbanded. Others whispered about hidden shipyards orbiting Jupiter, AI ghosts maintaining ancient weapons. When the Cryon reached Mars, the humans didn't run. They unleashed the Ward Protocol, a planetary defense AI built from the battle data of the War of Vora Prime. Every Cryon signal intercepted became a new algorithm. Every lost drone was copied, repurposed, improved. Within weeks, human fleets no longer defended, they hunted. The Concorde observed again. What they saw this time chilled them to the bone. The humans didn't fight with fury. They fought with precision. Calm, efficient, almost silent. When their ships were breached, their crews detonated the reactors before capture. When the Cryon adapted, humans adapted faster. The war lasted only 90 days. The Cryon hive was gone, vaporized, sterilized, erased from stellar maps. Afterward, the Concorde gathered in emergency session. They reinstated the ban immediately.